Hi everyone, hope you're well. This is Carly from Unzipped, and I'm going to do a short video today talking about how do you know if you are ready to approach third-party e-commerce. So firstly, what is third-party e-commerce? It can simply mean two different options. It can mean wholesale or it can mean marketplace. So they are really the two key methods for fashion brands to use. And that is simply you as a brand stocking your product on a third party's website. So who is killing it in this arena at the moment? So there are powerhouses like Amazon. We all know who Amazon is, and they are a well-known marketplace. And they sell brands throughout the world, multiple different products. And yeah, they originally started out as simply selling books. So there's Amazon, there's the likes of Zalando. So Zalando is a huge platform in Europe, predominantly based in Germany, but selling to 17 different countries across Europe. And they, for example, last year, they saw their gross margin increase by 20%. So these platforms, these third-party platforms are growing and they are dominating the market. So if you are a small fashion brand, you can't go wrong by using them as a means to reach new audiences and make more sales. So let's go back to the point today. So how do you know if you are ready to approach these big platforms? So I'm going to run through some questions, and this is pretty much a checkpoint. So questions for you to answer to establish if you are ready to approach third party. So firstly, are you established enough? It's such a powerful question. So have you got a following? Have you got enough Instagram followers, for example? And that's quite potentially a silly one, but not. ASOS really value the fact that you have to be established, you have to have a social media presence and a following. So they actually want you to have at least 20,000 followers on Instagram for you to be classified as established enough for them to work with you. So are you very clear with your brand's values, who you are, your tone of voice? You really need to have a really strong presence and vision to display to these third-party e-commerce sites to be taken seriously. So the second one, do you actually have the budget to be able to afford to do third-party e-commerce? So you might be thinking, why do I need a budget? Surely I'm selling my product, I'll be making money instead. Yes, that's the end goal, but to actually work in third-party e-commerce, specifically wholesale, you actually have to upfront quite a lot of the beginning costs. So I'm actually talking potential costs for you that could at least last the first 6 to 9 months of the beginning of that relationship. So within the budget, within the cash flow, a few things for you to consider are you would have to pay the manufacturer to produce the goods before you actually sell them. So you'd be producing your range and a wholesale partner's range. So that's double the cost potentially. You'll obviously have costs to consider if you're going into new markets, like legal costs, the setups, like all the different fees you need to know if you can afford to do that. And also within talking about budget, wholesale is really, you're only likely to make 20% margin. So it's a very slim profit margin versus your own direct to consumer channel. So you have to weigh up if you can afford to take, a small payment for doing this sales method. So the next question, it comes down to the collection. So knowing if you're ready actually comes down to how much product do you have? So the general base requirement is you need to have 2 drops per season, and within each drop, you at least need to have 25 options. So if you're not big enough yet, as in size, option count, then you are not ready to approach third-party e-commerce. Again, that's quite specific for wholesale. If you want to do marketplace, there are a lot of small marketplaces out there in the market that you could choose to sell through. And that means you don't actually have to have a certain amount of options, it's your choice. But again, some of the big marketplaces still have a minimum option requirement that you must meet. So also talking about collections, have to consider, are you actually willing to potentially create an exclusive collection? Or if you're in the Southern Hemisphere and you want to approach the Northern Hemisphere, are you actually ready to design weather appropriate product? So you have to actually answer, do you have the scope of work? Again, do you have the budget? Do you have the skill set? And do you want to do that? So other questions, this is a huge one. Have you actually built this into your strategy? So what are your business goals for 2021, 2022? And have you actually defined your strategy? Are you clear with exactly what you want to achieve by going into third-party e-commerce? So it's a really important question that you need to actually answer honestly, and you need to make sure that any of your stakeholders in your business also follow this strategy that you've defined. So within creating a third-party strategy, you have to consider what's the timeline, what are the milestones, what's your actual approach, like how are you going to do this? And do you need help to do that? So do you need to work with someone like Unzipped that we can help connect you? We are the experts, we're connected in the industry to get you into these accounts. So how are you going to actually achieve your wholesale or marketplace launch? So the next question to ask yourself when deciding is, logistically, how able are you? So again, really important, like, are you actually set up? Have you got a really good streamlined logistical process? Or are you just in the setting up phase and you're not really achieving what you need to? So that can be, you don't have your labels sorted, you don't have your packaging, you're just using DHL and shipping small quantities. That won't work for third-party e-commerce. So you need to actually have your logistics down to a T, and you need to be therefore ready to ship globally wherever you choose to approach. One of the last questions is, can you accept global payments? So again, think of your actual back office. How are you set up as a business? And are you able to actually transact with these big platforms? And can you accept global payments? One other final question after that criteria, and this is just some advice from me specifically, really ask yourself, how much do you want this? And this is a really important question. And again, it requires an honest answer, because working in wholesale or marketplace, it actually does take a lot of blood, sweat, and tears. It's not easy. It doesn't just happen like that. There takes a lot of work, a lot of monetary investment, and it's a long game. So you could choose to start this strategy now, and you may not launch your product for another 6 to 12 months. So again, you have to be invested in actually seeing through the whole of this project, so to speak. And then, yeah, the second bit as part of this question again is, you will have a lot of setbacks. So mentally and in your character, in your brand, are you actually ready to have these setbacks? And are you potentially ready to bend over to these sales platforms to actually secure the deal? So I hope these questions have really helped you to understand if you are actually ready to approach third-party e-commerce. If I can help any more, please reach out. I'm more than happy to answer any questions and help connect you to any sales platforms. Leave a comment under this video or reach out to me. It's Carley, so CARLEY.j @unzipped.co. Thank you so much and speak to you soon. Bye.